you want me to do the intro?
And we are live. Welcome back to Aussies taking over the NBA. We are here after a couple of technical sound difficulties. We broke off that last one quickly, and now we're back to do a Thon Maker and Detroit Pistons half year. I don't know, what would you call it? Emergency surgery?
I'd call it life support.
Life support. Ooh.
I'd say they're on mechanical ventilation, palliative care.
Far out. That's harsh, man.
Blake Griffin's on palliative care. That dude's out and away. He's on hospice care because his knees are about to fall off. This team, I had great hopes for at the beginning of the season because they got to the playoffs last year. He wasn't healthy. They took the off season. They should have improved. They signed Derrick Rose, Markieff Morris. They got a couple of good, Kennard was in, season 3. And it's just all fallen to absolute.
Yeah, I think you were pretty high on him. You were happy to watch him. Derrick Rose was a big thing. We watched all those workout videos in the off season. We're like, man, Derrick Rose could be back here. How do you reckon he's gone? Like, I think above average, would you say?
No, I think he's back in terms of efficiency, scoring. But again, when no one else in your team is very good, does it make him look better because he's the only one that's there? Or is he actually back in terms of, you can't really tell when the team's 17 and 33 as of these stats. So
these stats are now they're currently 19 and 34. So
19 and 34. So
they did beat the Suns today. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say they did beat the Suns. But you can't really say that he's back. You can just say he's having a good season. His stats are up. He's on par with his MVP season in terms of his numbers, which is crazy. And obviously nowhere in the MVP talk in this game 10 years later. So where Detroit is sitting, 22nd in points per game, 30th in rebounds per game. So they're dead last. 16th in assists. Derrick Rose obviously moves the ball around quite well. 1733, they're what, 12th or 11th in the East. Good 3-point percentage, 37.3, so they could shoot the three ball well, 15.5 turnovers per game, and a real plus minus of negative 2.4. So they're not getting blown out. They're winning games. It's kind of even. But I just don't rate Dwayne Casey as a coach. They obviously have been stuck with this Blake Griffin atrocity of a contract. He's pretty much a broken human and really can't function anymore, I would say.
It's a big part of the team, their identity as well. Like, it's not necessarily a basketball like, it goes beyond a basketball problem that they have. Like, he's an identity of that team. Like, the star of this team is Blake Griffin, and he's been injured and struggling. You know what I mean? Like, some teams can kind of bounce back from that if they've got the rest of the roster around them. But I don't think this team really, like, Drummond's your other star player. Then beyond that, it's kind of pretty bare, apart from maybe Kennard.
Well, we could talk about Kennard today, actually. There's a lot of rumors there that they wanted to move Kennard on. Obviously, he's only played 24 games this year. He's got bilateral knee tendonitis.
Yeah, what do we got there? Medical Andy, let's diagnose that.
Bilateral knee tendonitis. So both his knees, he will have some sort of patella tendonitis. It's an overuse injury.
Long term?
Could be.
Wow.
It's a overuse injury. It could be debilitating long term. These things take ages to recover. If he never really gets back from it, it could be a career limiting injury without actually having any structural damage to the knee. So it's not like Blake Griffin, who's just knees. He probably has no cartilage, micro tears, bits floating around his knees. Luke Kennard has probably he's literally just got sore knees, and there's nothing structurally wrong with him. Just pain in the knees, not allowing him to play his full game. But his numbers were really terrific this year when he was playing. I've actually written them down. They were so good.
Yeah, I got him here.
16 points per
16
game
points per game.
at 40% from the three ball. Man, that's something that you want in your team. Like, a good player, can play defensive pretty well. I wouldn't be moving it on. I'd be, waiting that out and just seeing if that's a growth injury and if that's something they can work through, because it's not a long-term issue if he just has bouts of it. The bilateral nature of it, so both knees, is probably a little bit worrying. But
he's not the highest 3-point percentage on that team either.
No, he's not. Christian Wood is I think at about 41.9, low volume, but I think at 16 points per game, 40% three. It's a high volume player, and that's in a team that they really don't run plays for him as well. He's just kind of get open wherever he can and shoot the ball. So if you ran a lot more through him, it would be more effective. But let's talk about Thon for a minute, because Thon requested a trade from the Bucks to go to a team where we'd get more minutes, get things going. Came into Detroit, took the summer off the Aussie team to work on his game. Has that come to fruition?
Oh, man. I think he did the right thing, not going to the World Cup. I think he did the right thing going, look, I need to put my career first. This is it unrestricted free agency the end of this year?
Yeah, qualifying offer.
Restricted or unrestricted?
Unrestricted. Qualifying offer 4.8 mil.
Yeah, so it's a big year for him, man. And after leaving the Bucks, if he had stayed on the Bucks for the last 2 years and done what he's doing on the Bucks, it's totally different to what he's doing here at Detroit, where the next step is possibly even out of the league in terms of the impact he's now having on the wider NBA. I don't think he's really had that good of a run, man. I don't want to see, you can hear him in the apprehension in my voice to just want to be saying, man, it's so disappointing. But, it's a worry. I really think he might be out of the league very soon.
Look, what are we in year 4 now? He hasn't shown a huge amount of progression. He was touted as the next kind of Giannis at one point. Hasn't shown a lot of progression. His numbers are pretty flat. They're on career average, so 4.1 points per game, 2.4 rebounds, half an assist, 50% field goal, which is up on career, 32% from three, 67% from the line, 0.6 blocks. He's smack bang on what he's done year in, year out for the last 4 years. Does that equal deep bench rotation? I'd say on a team like Detroit, where they're working with him, where they may not pick up the picks that they want, or they may not be the picks that they require, 4.8 million is not a huge outlay. So I do think there may be a qualifying offer for Thon at the end of this year. If we don't,
you'd take that too.
Of course you would. Why wouldn't you take? You take whatever you can with these numbers. Yeah, just like, yep, I'll take that.
It's a worry though that he's really not getting any game time, or he hasn't really been getting any game time over the last.
Yeah, he's been getting limited game time. Look, Dwayne Casey again is a terrible coach. He's just
straight up,
just terrible. Like, there's no plays that have been run. He allows Drummond to kind of dominate the offensive board, which is weird because if you just put a little bit of pressure on him, he kind of folds. They're not really running plays for their top shooters. It's all kind of ISO ball. And he's kind of put a bit of a ragtag team together. I think Derrick Rose is probably the best signing. He's on a 2-year, 14 mil. That's a contract that you want to buy. However, it's been said that he's quite happy in Detroit and wants to stay there, which is fine. And Detroit are happy to keep him, which is nice. They've been actively shopping Drummond because, again, he's going to want a max contract. He's not a max contract player by any means of the stretch. He's leading the league in rebounds at 15.7, but that means absolutely nothing in the big scheme of things. Saying that though, two steals a game and 1.7 blocks. So his real plus minus is minus 2.5. So his actual plus minus is greater in deficiency than that of the whole team for your primary center, which is not great.
If you look at Drummond, 775 rebounds for the season, averaging 16.9 rebounds per 36. The next guy in line is Christian Wood, who has 261. So he's grabbing all the rebounds. And then I wonder, schematically, that's an issue. And 174 turnovers from Drummond, man.
It's absurd. He's a turnover machine. He's got no ball handling skills and can't shoot the ball.
He's not even creating anything, and he's 174 turnovers. It's nuts.
That's what I mean.
Derrick
You put
Rose
a little bit
second with 108.
He primary ball handler. That's what you'd expect out of a primary ball handler. But yeah, that's what I mean. You put a little bit of pressure on him, he just kind of falters. That's why they're 30th in the league in rebounds. Is because, man, this guy is just kind of like, I just want to be the board man, to get out of my way. And it's kind of a cancer within this team, I think. He needs to go into a system team potentially where they're going to take that away from him and make him play pure center, because his finishing around the rim is pretty good and his defense around the rim is pretty good. But he gets stuck in this, I want to be kind of this rebounding center, which in the end means nothing if your team's not winning. So I would move that away from his repertoire. But again, this is Dwayne Casey just being a terrible coach. Terrible coach.
So what teams do we reckon need a center in the mold of?
Look, you maybe want to ship him to the Celtics for Hayward. I think that would be a good trade.
What? Gordon Hayward?
Yeah.
That wouldn't work. Hang on, I'm firing up the trade machine here. That wouldn't work. The salaries don't match. Isn't Hayward on like a max? Let's add team 2 here. Detroit. Thon Maker for Gordon Hayward. Try this trade.
Thon.
This trade.
Drummond. Drummond.
Oh, Drummond. Sorry. Okay, I was gonna say Thon. I'm like, whoa, Thon. Let's adjust this trade. So Thon primarily. What? I don't think they want to trade Drummond though. Like the organization, like they would have traded him by now, and they wouldn't have tried to trade Kennard.
I just don't think anyone wants to take Drummond.
Nah, I wouldn't either. It's just a dead contract basically. It's Roy Hibbert
pretty much
over again. Who do you think? Maybe Cleveland for Thon?
I don't know. I they kind of need a versatile center at Detroit when there isn't one in the league that can maybe shoot a bit of three ball. Maybe you can block the weak side. It's not that horrible. His numbers aren't that horrible. He's kind of efficient from the field. Efficiency's well up this year. Real plus minus isn't too bad. I don't know. What do you think? That would actually work quite well.
A center who can block shots and shoot the three ball. Who could they trade him for? No one really. Cephalosha maybe. Trade exception. This trade failed. The Rockets are over the luxury tax threshold. Salaries exceed. Yeah, I think they're gonna have to sign expirings. The Rockets. But I don't know, man. Like, what teams really? Like, looking through the mid-level teams, somewhere where his production could be useful and actually like add something to a team.
The Warriors?
I don't really see. Yeah, but even that would be 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
The Suns maybe.
Maybe Charlotte. Charlotte might. The Hornets might work.
Yeah.
Look, I think he's probably he might be one of those players that is now in the NBA. So everyone's happy to have him bench rotation because he's a system. Like, he's in there. He's he falls under this qualifying offer. It's low. He's not going to be demanding heaps of money. You're not going to have to worry about him going other places. Not really used as a trade piece, but could just sign and be a career journeyman. That's where probably I'd see Thon Maker. And then, maybe in his late 20s coming back to European or even Australian basketball. But, he's not like Delhi where I'm just like, this dude's out of the league next year.
Yeah. Timberwolves, maybe? They've only got 3 centers, so Karl Anthony Towns, Gorgie Jeng, and Naz Reid. Because they've just lost Bell. Maybe? But still, it's a little bit, yeah.
I think Detroit's probably the only place he's going to get that qualifying offer, to be honest with you. It'll be interesting to come. This is going to be an interesting free agent year for the Aussies.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few possibly, out of the league. Maybe Delhi's one. Is Exum? No, Exum's next year. Is Paddy coming up, or is he next year as well? I think.
Yeah, but Paddy, they'll Spurs will re-sign him. They'll find cap space for him.
Yeah, they love him.
They love him. He's a good player as well. He's having a career year. Like, you can't fault him for just being a shot maker.
Mm.
So
yeah, man, I don't know, man. Thon's just, you can hear it in my voice. I'm just like, man, I don't know what to do with him.
Well, I mean,
because I think
have
he's
to look
got
at
talent. He's never on any highlights. You're never hearing any articles or anything written about him. It's just he's kind of like a bit of a forgotten man.
Yeah, he's a forgotten 10th pick in the first round.
Yeah, but look, you forget that he was a 10th pick.
I would, Reggie Jackson is on an expiring contract this year. Blake Griffin's still got $75 million to be paid out after this year. They're going to have a bit of cap space at the end.
Contract.
They're not going to.
Sorry.
It's only if they could accumulate picks and they move it to another dead team, and they can waive him really. But yeah, I don't think that's it. Maybe next year, maybe they get something together next year. Maybe Dwayne Casey wants to keep this crew together for another year. I don't know. I definitely see Thon getting a qualifying offer from Detroit. I don't not see that. But it'd be good now that Blake Griffin is completely out to see him if Markieff Morris gets traded overnight our time. That's a power forward out of the team. Maybe he'll get more minutes. He has been starting at the center for weird 12 minutes and then getting yanked, which is just bizarre. But Dwayne Casey, again, terrible coaching.
You just haven't said it enough.
I can't say it enough, man. Yeah. Have you watched this team? It's crap.
But is that a sum of parts, or is that a sum of the coaching?
It's the sum of the coaching, because you've got parts, you have to put them together. It just doesn't look like he's put anything together. I think a lot of the time, Christian Wood, half the time looks like, oh, where am I supposed to be standing? And it becomes the Derrick Rose show in parts for no reason.
Yeah, well, anyway, it's a bit sad, because I think, if he was playing 12, 14 minutes a game, he's currently averaging, what's he averaging? Oh, come back. Where'd you go? It's disappeared. Where'd he go? Come back. Minutes. 11 minutes a game. So, if he was averaging 18, I'd be more happy. But it's just a worry, man. And it's hard. There's been no highlights. There's been no nothing, man. It's like he's just disappeared. It's real sad.
Disappeared. So it looks like they potentially could get the 7th pick of this next draft. 7th
this draft's a bit of a weird one too.
Yeah, what else they got? They got the 7th pick. That's it. Oof, they've only got one pick and a lottery pick. See how many second round draft picks they can pick up here.
It's a far cry from that player, man, in that Bucks series where he just lit up that Bucks Celtics series.
Dude, they have one pick this year in the draft. One pick.
It's crazy. No other picks or anything.
No second rounds. They've used them all. It's tough. It's gonna be a tough road.
And there's no, with the new odds system too. There's no guarantee that they're going to get a pretty high lottery pick.
No, not at all.
They're going to have to get some chips from a Kennard trade or a Drummond trade or something like that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I kind of see that they've got to give picks away to get that Drummond contract off. And they've got to give picks away to give that Griffin contract. So I think they're stuck. I mean, this could be a team in purgatory for the next 5 years. So there's no reason why Thon wouldn't be re-signed to a team that's really got no assets, can only sign free agents, and no one really wants to go to Detroit. That's what I mean. Like, he could be just that locker room kind of guy that gets the contract purely because he's a good presence. It's like the Delhi contract.
Yeah, Why
did Delhi ever get picked up with the Cavs? It's because he was, a pest on defense and a good locker room presence.
And then he like it's more like, why did the Bucks sign him for? I think he had 3 years, $53 million, and then ended up pretty much just going straight back to Cleveland. So they took on his contract. But it was
3 years, 36.
No, it was 50 or something, wasn't it?
3 years, 36. I think it was 9.5 a season. 3 years, 38.
Oh yeah, 4 years, 38. Yeah, you're right. I thought it was 50. Maybe that was your shoe deal with Anta. I think it was with the Chinese company or something like that. Yeah, so 4 years, $9 million a season. And then, man, remember when Thon Maker and Delhi were on that Bucks team? Now the Bucks team are just like absolutely killing it. It sucks.
It does.
Well, yeah, not much else really to say. We just hope that come next year, at the end of this season, Thon's still in Detroit and Thon's still in the league, because I think he's a talented kid, but hasn't gone his way this season halfway through. He's got time to turn it around this season, but the Detroit team's really struggling, so I'm not sure if we're going to see that. But
we may see more minutes, but I don't think we see playoff. No playoff aspirations for Detroit. That's it.
No playoff, just blocks for days, Thon. Remember that 6 blocks a game?
That Celtic series was crazy.
Yeah, I still watch that sometimes and get goosebumps. Just how that one where he, like, I think he chased someone down, like Brown or Tatum, and just kind of flicked it off the backboard, and then like goes running almost off the court into the crowd, just like fist pumping. And you see the whole crowd in the background just going nuts. I might have to watch this after this just to get my spirits back up. But yeah, it's just sad, man. Thon Maker, I hope he gets that qualifying offer, sticks in the league, and we'll watch him for the rest of the season. We'll cover him. Hopefully, gets more minutes. And yeah, so we'll wrap it up there. What have we got coming up? We got more games. We got more half-season reviews. Probably do Rowdy Ryan Brokoff next. Rowdy Ryan and Jinglin Joe. Yeah, Jinglin Joe. Paddy Mills has been lighting it up too, so we'll go in depth on Paddy. And then Bainesy. Bainesy, yes. We've got to do the good old Suns review. That'll be an interesting one. It'll just be us shitting on Ricky Rubio for 20 minutes. Yeah, I've gone back and so many times we're just like, bloody Rubio, man. Can't stand him. Yeah, I don't hate him. It's just struggle to watch him in a team where you're just like not running like, Spanish pick and roll. Yeah, fever ball. All right, let's wrap it. Yep, we'll wrap it there, and we'll see you guys on the next episode, probably next week. See ya. All right, take it easy, peeps. Bye.